When I came back in the office, I was shocked to learn that this weekend, the biggest story was frenzied social media rumors speculating whether Donald Trump had died. For the record, Donald Trump is very much alive, okay? And no, we like our president.
This be a lesson to Elon and anybody in Trump's orbit. Whatever your passionate political belief, or whatever your ideology is, you will go from reaching for mind stars to dissolving in a puddle of your own urine and shame and starting a fight club with your kid just to be able to feel. Because Trump doesn't believe in anything, man. What, were you with him because of his commitment to rein in big tech?
Imagine this. Trump wakes up expecting an ordinary day filled with golf carts, spray tans, and questionable tweets until Stephen Colbert and Jon Stewart appear, ready with razor-sharp jokes and explosive punchlines. What came next wasn't just a roast, it was a comedy meltdown that left Trump looking like a balloon losing air at a child's birthday. Stay tuned, because this showdown makes reality TV scene tame.
Let this be a lesson to Elon and anybody in Trump's orbit. Whatever your passionate political belief, or whatever your ideology is, you will go from reaching for mind stars to dissolving in a puddle of your own urine and shame and starting a fight club with your... As the Epstein missile heads towards the fuselage, look at Trump firing off countermeasures from Air Force One, like Rooster and Maverick in Top Gun. Maverick, sir, we got a...
Trump walks into every room. If it's a packed rally cheering just for him, even if it's only a Marriott lobby with a bellhop and someone struggling with the Wi-Fi. He struts around like a reality TV star who doesn't realize the show was canceled a decade ago. While the nation has gotten used to his recycled catchphrases, rambling rants, and shaky promises, not everyone is ready to clap on cue. Some still see comedy as a form of resistance.
Here's Trump on Saturday mocking the speech impediment Joe Biden has had since childhood.
2 nights ago, we all heard Crooked Joe's angry, dark, hate-filled rant of a State of the Union address. Didn't it bring us together? Remember, he said, I'm going to bring the country together.
Wow. Wow. You really want to go there? First of all, Biden didn't stutter like that. Second, if you want to make this a word-talking contest, you're one of the weirdest speakers in human history.
Trump walks into every room. If it's a packed rally cheering just for him, even if it's only a Marriott lobby with a bellhop and someone struggling with the Wi-Fi. He struts around like a reality TV star who doesn't realize the show was canceled a decade ago. While the nation has gotten used to his recycled catchphrases, rambling rants, and shaky promises, not everyone is ready to clap on cue. Some still see comedy as a form of resistance.
Negotiating skills aren't the real danger to this country. What's gonna f us up is his obsession with the concept of the leverage that he has.
We have all the leverage if you know what you're doing. We do have leverage because we're the pot of gold. Using my leverage, and it's a tremendous leverage, and I used it before very well.
You don't have the leverage! That's the key misunderstanding here. Trump is so arrogant. He thinks the leverage is his.
It all falls into Colbert's lap like an endless buffet of disasters, one blunder after another. Think about Trump's promises. Infrastructure Week became more mythical than Bigfoot, and his grand healthcare plan was about as real as a unicorn taking Blue Cross. Colbert didn't need to invent jokes. The failures wrote themselves. He just highlighted them, leaving audiences in stitches. Watching him tear through Trump's so-called greatest hits was like watching a chef cut into overripe fruit. It takes barely any effort to expose the mess inside.
At this point, Trump isn't even trying to hide his awfulness. His critics accuse him of being a wannabe dictator, so what does he do? He sits down with Hungarian dictator and elephant seal barking for a trout, Viktor Orban. Orban went down to Mar-a-Lago on Friday for an official fake state visit with the not president. Orban's a bad guy. In the last decade, he has weakened the institutions of democracy, eroded the legal system, and eliminated effective opposition. Did you ever know that you're my hero?
And then comes the imagery. Colbert doesn't just call Trump vain, he paints the picture. He jokes about the tan as if it were sprayed on by a crew with faulty equipment, and the hair like it's a national park under government protection. He spots the details everyone notices but rarely says out loud, then blows them up until the audience can't stop laughing. Even Trump's hand gestures turn into punchlines, like strange dance routines no one asked for but everyone recognizes. Yet it isn't just cheap mockery. Colbert uses logic like a comedian mathematician, exposing Trump's contradictions, the ones where he declares victory before the race even begins. He makes you laugh first, then realize the nonsense was obvious all along. It's like Trump is a magician with clumsy tricks, and Colbert is the kid in the front row shouting, "I can see the rabbit under the hat." Only here, the rabbit is wearing an oversized tie and yelling.
250 years of striving to live up to a constitutional republic and rule of law. Painstaking equity that you are squandering. That is the crux of American exceptionalism. You just want to make us great. That's a downgrade. Our brand is not strategic uncertainty. And you are not the keeper of our pot of gold. You are a temporary...
While Colbert goes for over-the-top roasts that leave Trump scorched, Jon Stewart uses a completely different style. Colbert is playful and flashy, like fireworks that dazzle and make people laugh. But Stewart is sharp, precise, and devastating, more like a scalpel cutting through the noise. Stewart doesn't just crack jokes, he breaks things down. He explains the chaos, points out who gains from it, and shows why it matters. With Trump, that turns into a ruthless expose disguised as comedy. Stewart knows the inner workings of politics better than many politicians, and when he applies that insight to Trump, it's like pulling back the curtain on the Wizard of Oz only to reveal not a powerful wizard, but a man with a bad comb-over tinkering with the smoke machine. For Stewart, the issue isn't just Trump himself, but what he represents, a symptom of a broken system where power outweighs integrity.
Finally speak unvarnished truth to power and say what I really think about Donald Trump, starting right now. To have like the skill set, doesn't have the skill set to be president, just not a good fit, that's all. People have been speculating about the timing of this decision from Paramount, and they're pointing out the last Monday, just 2 days before my cancellation, I delivered a blistering monologue in which I showed the courage to have a mustache. I mean, obviously CBS saw my upper lip and boom, canceled.
Stewart delivers it in a way that makes you laugh while also shaking your head in disbelief. He calmly points out the contradictions, hypocrisies, and glaring gaffes in Trump's arguments, and just when it feels overwhelming, he drops the perfectly timed punchline. It's like sitting in a lecture of democracy's decline, only the professor keeps slipping in whoopee cushions. One of Stewart's sharpest themes is exposing the gap between Trump's image and reality. Trump paints himself as a man of the people, but Stewart pulls out the receipts, showing his policies consistently favor the rich and powerful. It's like Trump pretends he's eating greasy diner burgers with everyone else while secretly ordering lobster thermidor on gold-plated china in the back. Stewart shines a light on that contradiction in a way that makes you laugh, but also leaves you angry that blend is his trademark. It's the equivalent of pausing a carnival ride mid-spin and pointing out the rusty bolts barely holding it together.
Before we get rattled by Trump's 2 to 2.5 front trade war, please understand, Mexico has already today received a 30-day stay on tariffs by promising 10,000 troops to the border, and we've promised to stop the inflow of guns. So, self-invented crisis averted.
Stewart's style is more surgical, but no less entertaining. While Colbert roasts marshmallows over Trump's fire, Stewart shows you how the fire started, who sold the gasoline, and why the fire marshal pretends not to notice. Once you see things through Stewart's lens, you can't unsee them. The real magic happens when these two approaches collide. Colbert's flamboyant mockery and Stewart's razor-sharp satire don't just poke fun at Trump, they combine into two philosophies of comedy working side by side. One makes you laugh until your stomach hurts. The other makes you think until your head aches. Together, they tear down Trump's image on two levels. Colbert makes him look like a cartoon character trapped in endless bad decisions, while Stewart reveals him as hollow, like a glitch in a political video game. One dazzles with absurdity, the other quietly hands you the receipts of dysfunction, like a waiter presenting a bill you knew was outrageous but hoped to avoid. And Trump, caught in the middle, tries to spin the whole clash into another look at me moment, only to find that comedy shows no mercy when it catches the scent of desperation.
I'm not saying that Trump doesn't care about his followers, but Trump is saying it.
And by the way, isn't that breeze nice? Do you feel the breeze? Because I don't want anybody going on me. We need every voter. I don't care about you. I just want your vote. I don't care. See, now the press will take that and they'll say he said a horrible thing.
Of course, if you say a horrible thing, people are going to say what you said is horrible. That's how words work. Next, they're going to say I punched an old lady in the face just because, bam, oh! She went down fast, didn't she, folks? Get up, old lady. I'm working my ass off up here.
Colbert's strength is making Trump look completely unserious. He doesn't just point out contradictions, he blows them up until they're impossible to ignore. Imagine Trump bragging about being the best at everything from business to foreign policy. Colbert spins that into the image of a kid boasting about dodgeball skills when everyone knows he was knocked out in the first round. The genius is in the effortlessness Trump hands over material like a never-ending blooper reel. While Colbert turns Trump into a late-night cartoon, Stewart takes on the role of the sharp teacher, ready to explain the homework Trump never did. He connects the dots, showing Trump's rise wasn't magic, but the outcome of years of political neglect and a media hooked on spectacle. Then he drops facts that hit like ice water. One moment you're laughing at Colbert's impression of Trump mangling words, and the next, Stewart reminds you that the same man once held the nuclear codes. It's the comedic version of getting smacked with a pie and then handed a history textbook.
America's military and paramilitary weren't the only winners in this bill.
Changes to the tax code could benefit corporate America and manufacturers.
The bill features roughly $4 trillion in tax cuts, mostly for the wealthiest Americans.
The estate tax becomes permanent and more generous. The holy grail of this tax plan, the best part of it for businesses, is bonus depreciation. And all the private jet makers have been salivating over this possibility.
I'm not sure that liquid is saliva.
Trump absolutely hates this combo. He feeds off critics who treat him too seriously. It lets him play the victim of elites and the establishment. But when the attacks come dressed as jokes, he's powerless. How do you argue with a punchline everyone already knows is true? Denying it makes it funnier, ignoring it makes you look weak, and trying to fight comedians on their stage is like wrestling a seal on ice. You're going down, and it won't be graceful. One of Colbert's sharpest tricks is simply putting Trump's contradictions side by side. He'll play to clips Trump saying one thing on Monday and the opposite by Friday, and the comedy writes itself. No extra commentary needed. The audience does the laughing. Then Stewart steps in to explain the why. Why does Trump constantly flip-flop? Because chaos keeps him in control. Why contradict himself? To scatter attention, dodge accountability, and keep people chasing distractions. Colbert shows you the circus. Stewart breaks down the ringmaster's act. And the irony is, Trump is a goldmine for comedians precisely because he takes himself so seriously.
We like our presidents alive. Donald Trump is very much alive, and this whole crazy rumor started simply because Trump had 0 events on his schedule Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday, and one of the only signs that he might still be around was music in the Rose Garden, which the White House confirmed was the president's music. Which I gotta say is not the strongest proof of life. Yes, nurse, I do see that flat line, but the patient is clearly alive because his iPhone is playing Papa Loves Mambo. Papa Loves Mambo. Anyway.
Comedy thrives on ego, and the bigger the ego, the harder the fall. Trump moves through the world like a giant parade float, and Colbert and Stewart show up with oversized pins. Every boast turns into a setup, every denial into a punchline, and every grand claim becomes material for another late-night monologue. Take Trump's rallies. For his fans, they're theater. For Colbert, they're free content. He mimics the rambling, the hand gestures, even the way Trump reintroduces himself like the crowd doesn't already know who he is. It's like a musician shouting their own name before every song, except instead of a guitar solo, you get a half-hour rant about enemies, real or imagined. Stewart skips the impressions and studies the crowd, asking why people keep buying tickets to the same show when the script never changes. His answer lands somewhere between funny and sobering. Chaos sells, and Trump has mastered the business. But Stewart doesn't stop there. He explains how the whole stage was built in the first place. Years of celebrity culture, political cowardice, and media greed laid the foundation. Colbert makes you laugh at the shaky tower. Stewart makes you realize the architects should have been fired long ago.
Authoritarianism isn't just policies, it's an aesthetic. The opulence of medieval kings, the excesses of Middle Eastern autocrats. It's a Pinterest vibe that speaks to the power of one's position, the riches that are the privilege of the office. Does Trump measure up? Does he have the lack of available wall space?
You have the mantle, and you have the cherubs from, is that from Mar-a-Lago?
Yeah, that's actually, they're gold, all gold, look. And you know, it's angels.
They're angels. They visited me in the night and asked me to change my ways.
Together, they force you to see Trump in two ways, as a clown and as a warning. He's not just absurd, he's proof that absurdity thrives when the system rewards it. That's the brilliance of the Colbert-Stewart duo. You walk away laughing at the hair, the hands, the spray tan, but you also wonder how a carnival barker managed to convince millions he was a statesman. What really undermines Trump isn't one joke or one fact, it's the non-stop mix of both. You can dismiss a single comedian as biased, but when two sharp satirists with totally different styles land on the same target, the point becomes impossible to ignore. Trump isn't untouchable, he's the most mockable man alive.